Okay. And secondly, Snape. Snape was probably like one of the best right hand mans to Dumbledore that he could have ever thought of. Obviously, his motivation was literally just Lily. And Dumbledore, yes, abused that. And he knew that Snape would never betray him, and because of who he loved. And he did say that was one of Snape's like greatest traits, was that he was able to love someone this hard, and even though she's gone, his heart was forever hers and nobody else's. And he's willing to do anything to like protect what she would have wanted protected. So that being Harry, Snape was in the background in every single book. In the first one, obviously they assumed that Snape was the one who was trying to get the Sorcerer's Stone, and the whole time he was really just trying to protect the Sorcerer's Stone. And like Dumbledore has said to watch Professor Quirrell, and so Snape was just in the background, just lurking. And so he did seem suspicious in that first one. Like that first one, I believe too that this he's the villain. Um, but he was just, I mean, you can see he was hard on Harry, but that's just because he looked like James, but he had Lily's eyes. And in my head canon, I just feel like maybe he also wanted Harry, close to him at times so he could just look at him and see those eyes again. That's just my head canon. He just maybe he just wanted to see those eyes again. And Harry had a lot of attentions with Snape. They spent a lot of time together, but he looked like James. So obviously, Snape hated James for valid reasons. But um, Snape was the right hand man behind everything. Like even the second book, he wasn't like too big of a factor in the second book, but he did show obviously he wanted that dark arts position, and I think he had fun in that second year, just upstaging Lockhart. And obviously in the third one, he had that role with. I feel like Snape kind of wanted to be in that group, but well, not wanted to be in that group, but he didn't like that group obviously because James was in it, and he found them weird, and he suspected Lupin of being a werewolf that whole time. And even he talked to Lily about it. He's like, what's Lupin doing every time? It's always around the full moon. He was like, suspicious. But he just was jealous because he knew that James liked Lily, and he probably felt like eventually James was going to bag Lily, which he did. Um, but I feel like Snape kind of pushed them toward each other in a way, just because of Snape on his end doing the things that he was doing and getting close to the Death Eaters, because of his affinity for dark arts. Obviously, he was like perfect candidate to be a dark arts teacher, but I feel like Dumbledore had a plan in terms of the teachers he picked ahead of Snape, and those teachers all ended up helping Harry at some point. Even Umbridge. I know Umbridge was terrible, but even her being a teacher and a dark arts teacher and the things she did, I feel like Dumbledore knew those things happened, but he also wanted Harry to see how bad the Ministry was and to not trust the Ministry. Because also, this is kind of a Dumbledore and Snape video, but Dumbledore turning down that position at the Ministry several times, I feel like just illuminates obviously the distrust for the Ministry, and also the fact that they wanted Dumbledore so bad because he was the most powerful at the time. They wanted that power on that side, and Dumbledore was like, no, because he felt like even himself would buckle under the opportunity to have that power, and then he probably would have become a different person later on in life if he had taken that ministry role instead of keeping the professor or the headmaster role at Hogwarts. I feel like that role kept him um, not balanced, but like just kept him down. Like he didn't have to be hungry for power. He just had to make sure the kids obviously stayed alive, and obviously not every year kids stayed alive because but he his main thing was protecting the kids. Now back to Snape. Yeah, he was in the background of everything. His memories so tragic, and best parts of yeah, his memories the best part. I would say one of the best parts of the end, and him showing those memories to Harry. He felt like he deserved to see those memories at that time because he was passing on. So Harry could really see the why behind everything, and I feel like that was a good moment. Snape went out. He went out. He was a real one. Snape was a real one, and yeah, for one woman to make that man do all those things, Harry's mom, yeah,